on the ground in Khan Yunis in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Thank you so much, Yumna. Please stay safe. Well, we can now bring in Guy Shalev. He's the Executive Director of Physicians for Human Rights Israel. He joins us now from Tel Aviv. Doctor, I understand you're very much still in close contact with doctors on the ground right now in Gaza. What have they been telling you?
Right. So first of all, this is the interaction that we have with local doctors in Gaza for the past 35 years, especially in the past 16, 17 years since the blockade on Gaza started. And we're maintaining our close ties with our colleagues in Gaza. We're talking to Marwan Abu Saada and to Munir al-Bursh, who you've also been talking to in Al Jazeera. And we're getting reports from what's happening on the ground about the Israeli attack of medical facilities that has become impossible in the past 2 days, I would say, and definitely now, right now, when Al-Shifa Hospital is under direct attack.
You're suggesting there that things have escalated in the last couple of days. We've certainly seen that. Let me ask you about your understanding of the intentionality here, both of the strikes that we've seen as well as the siege. Doctors on the ground have also been telling us that they believe that Israel intends to cause death by deprivation.
Right. So when we're talking about direct attack of the medical facilities in Gaza, it hasn't started yesterday or today. The decision not to let any clean water, food, fuel for the hospital generators in is already an attack on the Gaza health system. And it already is causing a lot of pain and destruction and death, even before we got to this point now where the Israeli military is encircling Al-Shifa Hospital, which is definitely becoming ever more urgent to protect these medical facilities. I don't think it's our role to decide on intentionality. The facts on the ground are clear. Patients and medical staff are being targeted. They are being put in risk. They do not have the equipment they need, the medications they need, and we are hearing about chronic disease patients as well as injured patients that cannot get the medical treatment that they require in order to survive.
Well, Israel has been saying that they're targeting Hamas, right? In your experience, and that of the many, many doctors that you work with, are there any Hamas operations in or under hospitals in the Gaza Strip?
Right. We don't have any information, direct information on that. We know that Israel is claiming that since 2009 and have yet seen any validated evidence by a third party to that fact or that argument or that claim. We know that we go to Al-Shifa every month with our delegations, with doctors going there, walking around the corridors, providing healthcare, doing surgeries, and they report that they've never seen Hamas militants walking around Al-Shifa Hospital. And it must be clear that even if these claims by the military are true, which still we don't have any evidence to that, it doesn't allow under any international law to target the patients and the medical staff in there. Until there's any possibility of safe evacuation, which we currently cannot see, especially now when the hospital is encircled.
Yeah.
And when I'm talking about safe evacuation, I'm talking about ambulances, medical staff. I mean, if you need to move around a baby in an incubator, you need the conditions to do that safely. And also you need someplace safe to evacuate. The Gaza Ministry of Health have been requesting, since this war has started, to have patients, especially chronic disease patients, evacuated out of the Gaza Strip, and we're not allowed to do so. I know that Turkey offered to provide healthcare for them. Egypt offered to provide healthcare for them, but still they are stranded in these hospitals. So as long as they are there, they cannot become a legitimate target to any military action.
Let me take a step back and ask you this. You're sitting right now in Tel Aviv, and you're the Executive Director of Physicians for Human Rights in Israel. How are doctors in Israel feeling right now as they watch what's happening in the Gaza Strip? And do you feel that you're being heard in Israel?
Yes, this is a very difficult time to speak out in Israel. We know of our colleagues and friends are being arrested just for showing any empathy with Gaza. So the public debate in Israel is very problematic, and a lot of the doctors that we are working with are just afraid to speak out, especially our Palestinian doctors, Palestinian citizens of Israel, who are really at risk of being attacked by the government for anything they say, even if they post something on social media. So this is the atmosphere that we are working in. We know a few days ago, as you reported, there was a letter by Israeli doctors who urged the Israeli government to attack Gazan hospitals. We saw that as a impossible violation of medical ethics that these doctors has resorted to. We issued our own statement signed by more than 300 medical personnel, arguing that not in any condition a hospital can become a target. We are calling from here, from Tel Aviv, to our government, to governments all over the world. This needs to stop now, not tomorrow, not, I don't know, in 2 hours from now. All the pressure needs to put on the Israeli government to stop this attack on hospitals and medical facilities. It can't be a minute too early to do so.
Guy Shalev there, the Executive Director of Physicians for Human Rights Israel, joining us from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts here with us on Al Jazeera, Doctor.
Thank you.
Well, speaking at a joint summit of the Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, called for an immediate end to the hostilities.
As we reiterate our condemnation of this ferocious, brutal war under which our Palestinian brothers are reeling, as a result of which thousands of civilians were killed, hospitals, places of worship were destroyed. The kingdom has been exerting concerted efforts, continue to consult and coordinate with brother and friendly states to